Good morning, Facebook. This is JD Wright with Coloring Book Mom Confessions. And guess where I am today? It's Black History Month, and I am at Cedar Hill. This is the home of Frederick Douglass in Washington, D.C., Anacostia. If you are in the Washington, D.C. area, I highly recommend that you visit the home of Frederick Douglass. This is an amazing place, you guys. It sits on top of a hill in Washington, D.C. that overlooks like this amazing landscape, this amazing view of Washington, D.C. So you guys, why am I at Frederick Douglass's house? Well, April, my daughter, has a Black History Month project. And her person that she's doing is Frederick Douglass. So, mommy has to do some research and make sure she knows everything there is to know about Frederick Douglass and his life and his accomplishments and how amazing he was. So, that's what we're doing. We're putting the act together. Hello, Miss Kelly. Thank you so much for joining us. So, you guys, I am here in Anacostia, Washington, D.C., at Cedar Hill, the home of Frederick Douglass, and I'm here to help my daughter do her Black History Month project. Well, you guys, she is very excited. She already knows a lot because we've read some books on Frederick Douglass, and now we're going to bring it to life with some of the tokens that we received here at the Visitor Center, and I want her to do very well on this project. She has to speak on it. She has to show a visual aid, so I want to make sure that she does a great job. I've learned so much about Frederick Douglass doing this with her, and I'm excited because it's my daughter. For those of you who don't know, April, my daughter, is 5 years old, so she is in kindergarten, and this is her very first project, and I want her to do well. And we both love Frederick Douglass, so I wanted to make sure that she understood everything that went on with him, and that is why I'm here at Cedar Hill, the home of Frederick Douglass. You guys, she is so smart. My daughter is so smart. I was interviewing her last night, asking her all of these different questions about Frederick Douglass, and she got most of them right, even dates. She got dates right. Hello, Aunt Wani. My Aunt Wani just joined in. Hi. Thank you so much. You would be so proud of your niece. So proud. So we are here. We've learned so much about Frederick Douglass. We learned that he was married twice. Now, Frederick Douglass was a very handsome man. He was handsome. And he was first married to a woman who was free. But he was a slave, but then he became free and he married her. They met while he was a slave, and she helped him out, and they got married. They had moved here in DC in their later years, and unfortunately his first wife died. Anna died while they were living here in DC, and he remarried. How many of you guys knew that Frederick Douglass remarried in his older years? Yes, he did. I've learned so much about Frederick Douglass. He did so much. He taught himself how to read when he was a slave, just a little boy, around 6 or 5 years old. His mistress, his mistress taught him when I say mistress, I mean his owner, the woman who was his owner, taught him a little bit about how to read his ABCs. And when he learned his ABCs, they got caught learning how to read, and he got in trouble, and she got in a lot of trouble. So she had to change her attitude about it, for the sake of her livelihood and for Frederick Douglass's livelihood. She had to realize that was a very dangerous thing to do. So she kind of changed her attitude about it. But that did not stop him from learning how to read. When he was in Baltimore with his slave masters, they had him running errands and stuff, and he was, just a boy going throughout the city doing different things for them. He would steal biscuits from the house, and apparently there was plenty of food, and they were all offered to him. So he would steal biscuits from the house and go out and give the biscuits to the poor white kids in the neighborhood so that in exchange they would teach him how to read. So he completed his education that way. And you guys, let me tell you, I've been reading his first autobiography and it is amazing. He taught himself how to read, and it's really amazing. Vocabulary is, I'm like, this is stellar. So I'm extremely proud to be here. I'm extremely proud to share all of this information with you all. As a matter of fact, for any of you who are teaching your children how to read, make sure that you check out our ABC coloring book. It's at danaclarkcolors.com. If you're learning how to read, if your child is learning how to read, anyone, check out that book because it has words that really matter. So it's not just C is for cow, B is for boy. It's C is for confident and B is for brave. Awesome words that our children should know. Check it out at danaclarkcolors.com, our ABC coloring book. You guys, it is amazing here standing on top of this hill. It's a beautiful house. Let me tell you, this house is beautiful even for today's standards, okay? It's roomy, it's spacious. Back then, what happened was that Frederick Douglass was appointed the marshal. He was appointed the head marshal. And what happened is that they moved him into this house. He paid for his house. It was about $6,000 or so, which in today's time would be over $1 million. Okay, you guys, we are also celebrating Frederick Douglass's bicentennial. He was born in 1818. They're estimating that it was about 1818. You know how the records were kept not so great when it came to slavery, to the slaves and their birth dates and whatnot. But he was born in 1818, and this is his bicentennial. So they are celebrating 200 years from his anniversary of his birth. 200 years, you all. Slavery was just 200 years away. That's not a long time. We've come so far. You guys, if you have seen my previous podcast, you know that I had to explain slavery to my daughter. And in explaining it to her, I was nervous. I wasn't sure how to say, you know, that there were people who did bad things. There were people who were unjustly enslaved and kidnapped and all those type of things. So I'm like, how do I explain this to my 5-year-old daughter? And then I remembered something that Mr. Rogers, you know, Mr. Rogers from Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, something that he said that his mom told him, and that was to always look for the helpers. Look for the people who are helping. And with these Black History Month projects, that's what we're doing. We're looking and focusing on the people who are helping, who were helping. All of the helpers back then, all of the people who wanted to make things better. All of our ancestors, what did they do? What were their sacrifices and their struggles for a greater purpose? And that is how I explained it to my daughter. And it is such a better feeling way of explaining the ways of this country and the slavery. It's such a better way to explain to children, 5-year-old, she's only 5. It's a better way to explain to her that these bad things did happen, and out of those bad things, these good people emerged and were able to help. So that's what we did. You guys, this is J.D. Wright. I'm up here in Cedar Hill at the home of Frederick Douglass. I am extremely proud to be here. He was also a musician, you guys. He played the violin. Now, I want to know, I'm not sure if he taught himself how to play the violin or if he got lessons. But this man was amazing. He played the violin. How awesome is that? He not only did he do all of these amazing things, like start the newspaper called the North Star, which is where he made a lot of his money. He also made a lot of his money through a lot of the speeches. So that should be an inspiration to all of you public speakers out there. Frederick Douglass made a lot of money during his public speaking and during his newspaper. So he was able to afford this house, this beautiful house. Take a look at that. And this is just the front. This is just the front of the house. It goes all the way back. So it goes all the way back up here on Cedar Hill, overlooking Washington, D.C. I don't know if there's even a better view. It's hard to show you guys the view from the top of this hill of all of Washington, D.C., only because there are a lot of trees here. So the trees are kind of in the way of you seeing this magnificent, beautiful landscape. But it's an amazing place to be, you guys. I'm very happy to be here. And we're all going to hope that Apryl gets a great grade. I'm hoping that she gets a wonderful grade on her Black History Month project. You guys, also, if you want to see beautiful, beautiful coloring books and beautiful images of girls of African descent, even boys of African descent, check out our website at danaclarkcolors.com. You can go on there and check out the different books that we have. They're all coloring and activity books. They depict our culture perfectly. They really do. Why? Because of the details in the hair. Thank you very much to Shakira Rivers for being a wonderful illustrator of our covers and the majority of our books. She did an absolutely fabulous job. So check out our books at danaclarkcolors.com. This is J.D. Wright coming from Cedar Hill in Anacostia, Washington, D.C., the home of Frederick Douglass. Thank you very much, you guys. This is Coloring Book Mom Confessions. You all have a wonderful, wonderful day.